Okay, guys, welcome back to the World Championship Series. How about to say Intel Extreme Masters then for some reason? As we have on the line Victor, moving on to the round of 16, Mao's VortiX. How are you doing, man?
Hello, fine. Really fine.
Congratulations on moving on to the round of 16 once again.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so coming into this group, your anticipations for this group and how you felt about your opponents.
I thought I was okay to advance maybe a second. Like, I knew that if I played good, I could probably win the group. But I thought ForGG was like almost impossible to win because when he played in Europe in ladder, I rarely beat him. But yeah, of course, I was a bit inactive by then. Right now, I've improved a lot, and well, I thought that if I had a good day, I could probably win my group. But yeah, I was expecting to at least come a second.
I mean, we spoke earlier on Skype, and you told me, and I told everyone else, that you obviously stopped school for a little bit now and are practicing. What's involved in your practice? What do you do to practice?
Well, I play a lot of ladder. Just I'm trying to watch as much Korean bots as I can, and also joining Mao Sports is very good because we all practice together a bit, so that helped a lot in improving lately.
Okay, that's cool.
That's pretty cool team camaraderie.
Fighting,
yeah. You don't see that in when you ask other teams. Generally, they say they don't really practice that much together. But there you go.
Well, we could practice more, but we still practice a bit together, right? I think it's really good to have a lot of players, not only to play, but also to, to talk about strategies and stuff like that.
How did the transition go from Karante to Mao Sports? I assume Mao Sports have been interested for a while. Can you talk us through that a bit?
Yeah, well, actually, it was really fast. Like, they contacted us and we talked with Karante, and we all thought it was the best to join them. And actually, we don't regret at all because it's a very nice team. Karante was really good too, and at some point was sad to leave them, but I guess you have to move on.
Up and beyond.
Yeah.
So a lot of people always talk about, the relationship with your brother. How much does he help you when it comes to, thinking about how to beat a Terran player and practicing against Terrans?
Actually, a lot, because we are next to each other, and then I play ladder, and every time I lose, he's like, "Oh, what the fuck, man, you played so bad. You have to improve this. You have to improve this and that." And, that helps a lot because every game I play, I feel I'm getting better by, by just talking with him about what should I have done and I didn't do and stuff. That helps a lot. It's not so much about practicing together with him, but talking about the game and so on.
I remember in an interview prior, you guys mentioned that in practice, I think a while ago, you took more games off Lucifron than he took off you. What are those ratios like at the moment in practice?
Like right now?
Yeah.
We don't play that much together right now, but I think in the last maybe 6 or 7 games, he won me all of them. But it's kind of like, I don't know, it's no motivation for me at all to play versus Lucifer. Like, even in practice games, I can focus because I just don't care about winning or not. So I kind of prefer to just talk about the game with him and trying to improve that way and not playing so much with him.
Okay.
All right, here's a funny question, I hope. So how does it feel to wake up every morning, to go to school, and your brother wakes up and goes to play StarCraft?
I'm like, fuck you, man. Nah, I don't know, it's... well, I guess it's hard, because it's much better to be full-time, but... yeah, I am still thinking about taking a year off too, but... well, I don't really know what to do yet. Yeah.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. So you've got a lot planned. What are your plans? I mean, it's summertime. You're not in school. What are your plans for the next up and coming months?
Well, I guess I'm gonna practice as much as I can and try to attend as many tournaments. So, like, I'm gonna go to Dreamhack Valencia, for example, or Asus Rock, WCS now too. So yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of tournaments. So I will just try to do my best in them.
Awesome stuff. Any last words? Any shout-outs?
Well, to everyone supporting me, of course, especially in Spain, there's like a lot of support to us. And to Mouse, of course, and to Mouse and the sponsors, thank you, Jail, XMG, Restaurant, VortiX. Yes, thanks, everyone.
Awesome.
All right, awesome. Thank you for joining us for a couple of minutes there.
Yeah, thank you too.
All right.
All right. See you later.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
See you in
Bye.
Cologne soon.
Yeah, see you. Thank you.
All right. Well, VortiX, seeming, I think I would go with quietly confident.
I think he's a very pleasant individual, to be honest. I think he's a very nice guy. I've met him multiple times now, and him and his brother always come to tournaments together. They always say hello, how you doing, together, and they're a nice couple of guys. So I'm happy to see them both make it through to the round 16. I think it was really enlightening just to hear his thoughts on his brother, because every time, you know, I've said it in cast before, other people have said it before, is that, yeah, they must practice together, brothers, they practice together, but in reality, they don't practice together. All they do is talk.
Talk
Lots of StarCraft,
ideas.
whether it be over dinner or whatnot. And the point he brought up about talking when he loses, I've seen in real life in tournaments. I've gone and seen at BWC last year, when I think they played against each other last year, actually, in the World Championship, VortiX versus Lucifron in China. Yeah. Lucifron won, and VortiX wouldn't speak to anybody because obviously he's devastated, he just lost in the World Championship. And it was like, you know, round of 16, round of 8 area. And the only person that went over to speak to him was his brother, Lucifron. And he was just whispering words in his ear. They went through the replay together, and, you know, he said, sorry, I had to beat you there. It's, you know, obviously no bars held back. But yeah, it's a great relationship they have. And of course, to hear the thoughts on mouse sports too. That's great. Great news that they're all practicing and talking and training together. That's great for the scene.
It certainly creates for a very, very solid setup there in mouse sports, if you're able to have that kind of camaraderie. But now, moving into Belshire Vestige for our lower bracket here, we have ForGG going up against Bunny. This one is going to be quite a scorcher because, unfortunately for Bunny, ForGG kind of has his number.
I just got hit by a fly in the face.
Did it just fly right into you?
Yeah.
Oh well, all right. Spawning up to the top left-hand corner here as our blue Terran, we have Copenhagen Wolves Bunny. And spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner here as our red Terran, we have ForGG.
So the last time these players met against each other was in the round of 32 last season in the opening game. Funny that, isn't it? The opening game of Season 1, the very first game for the Europe Premier League, was these two players playing against each other, and it was a silly game.
It was.
On Akalon Waste, I remember that, and it was like 100 SCVs killed a piece.
Whoa, yeah, exactly. It was 200 in total.
Yeah, 100 odd killed a piece. A wacky game, a silly game that was. But it was fun. Very fun way to kick off the WCS to Europe. And looky, Season 2. They meet again. But if we look at the results back then, it was 2-0.
Yeah.
And the first game of the broadcast. And then in the final match of that group, to see who advances and who doesn't, ForGG took a very simple, if I remember, the second series was very simple. 2-0 victory.
Yeah. Need we remind you of ForGG's TVT? Let's just go over the numbers in case you weren't with us in Season 1. Okay, so in matches in TVT in Heart of the Swarm, ForGG is 54 maps wins, 8 map losses. That gives him 87% win ratio in maps. In series, that's 30 series wins and 3 series losses. 2 of those series were best of ones. No one cares. The only one that he lost, no, actually 2 of them he lost, I think, was MVP during Season 1 brackets finals, and then something at the World Finals.
He lost versus one of the big bad wolves of Korean Terrans.
Yeah.
Because he had an only Terran bracket and then lost versus a Terran in the quarterfinals, I think. Oh, no, semifinals.
Yeah.
Semifinals. I'll tell you who it was in a second.
But the long story short on that...
Oh, it was MVP in the finals.
Oh, so it was both twice MVP.
Quarterfinals.
Okay. So the long story short for that, guys, is ForGG's pretty good at TVT. On the other end of the spectrum, for Bunny... right, how do we put this? He's 80% win ratios in the other matchups. In this one currently, though, 21%. And he's going to need a miracle here to defeat ForGG. But every TVT that Bunny has played has been against pretty good Terrans. So...
Okay, so now it's time to talk about the differences in this matchup. This is the matchup which has been affected the most from the Hellbat change, I'd say.
Yeah.
Every single game was Hellbat drops. That doesn't happen very often. It does sometimes still happen. But Bunny's gone for a faster factory with a gas first here into just Starport Banshee. And he's going to be going for Cloak. On the other hand, though, his opponent's playing a defensive ForGG, and this is what ForGG used. The funny thing is, ForGG's gameplay, before Hellbats became the unit, ForGG had a set of builds that he'd win with a lot.
Yes.
And he's gone back to using them again because now he doesn't need to worry about Hellbats. He adjusted to Hellbats, and now he's reversed himself back to how he used to play, which is a 15-16 gas into a factory off 1 gas. This is Starport. What we're going to see from him most likely is either Widowmine or Hellion straight up towards a Starport. And the thing is with this is that he'll go for a Viking straight away.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe Medevac first if he wants to be a little bit aggressive, then a Viking. But either way, going to be very defensive. He's got a much, much faster command center than his opponent. And all he needs to do, and he knows all he needs to do, is the goal of ForGG. Defend versus what is coming.
Yeah, yeah.
And be economically ahead.
And with the builds that you were talking about previously, ForGG, he loves his Hellions. Boy, does he love his Hellions.
Yes.
Even when Hellbats were the thing, he would still love his Hellions. 1, because you can kite Hellbats for quite a long time in terms of the defense. And 2, because he loves to make so many Hellions that you can just break your opponent's front and try and repair against 20 Hellions. Good luck.
Good luck with that. He's decided, ForGG that is, to go for a Viking, and then a Raven will be the second unit, I suppose, to deal. I mean, the first Viking can push it back. Maybe a Scan can help out too. And then the Raven makes sure he's locked down defensively. Meanwhile, Bunny has got a Raven building. He's got a tank building.
Is he going to go for that TVT 111 thing?
He very well may, and he may bring SCVs too. That's what it's looking like at the moment. And down goes 1 Banshee. Pretty good success so far for ForGG. But the biggest problem is, if this 111 push comes out, can he defend it? There's going to be a point defense drone. Then there's tanks coming out. It's too late of a expansion play to be an expansion play now. Look how fast ForGG's is. Maybe if he sets up a fantastic contain, he can find a window to buy himself time here. But ForGG kind of needs to find out what's going on, which is through Hellions.
Yeah. Why is he researching Cloaking Field? Is he going to actually follow this up with the Banshee?
Yeah, that's very common, is to go for counter Banshee.
Yeah.
Because your opponent spends money on getting it, doesn't spend money on defense himself. And of course, if he's able to snipe the Raven, Banshee is just off 1 command center going to rock his world.
And still, the prolonged production of Hellions does continue here for ForGG, so it's very, very comfortable. And there's all the Marines
lined up. Trades off like 1 Hellion there for a lot of Marine kills.
He's got to be so careful about how he positions these Marines, because ForGG is always going to have a ton of Hellions, an absolute boatload.
Yeah.
And this 1 tank to zone them out, is it really enough?
We'll see. Remember, tanks have siege mode automatically now and have done for a long time as the Hellions do start to go in. Auto turrets come down. SCVs get pulled off too.
Aggressive TVT here from Bunny, but can he actually break this position? There's not that many Marines left over. A few Hellions push on forwards once again, but actually Bunny takes a supply lead right now. 27 army supply to
Banshee,
the 14.
Though, not too many anti-air units here.
Oh, and he killed the Raven.
And the Banshee's got Cloak. He did kill the Raven. That's the best point about all of this. And now Bunny's like,
darn.
At least I have a scan in 2 seconds, but I may not have any Marines to do anything with that scan.
Yeah.
And ForGG pushes his back once again here, displaying his excellent understanding of how this matchup works.
And in the end, Banshee moves in for Bunny as well. But the Raven from ForGG has been retained, so bye-bye Banshee. Well, Cloak came along anyway, did decloak. And now, Bunny, well, he did save all of his siege tanks, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, and ForGG is such a big Hellion fan.
Oh, yeah.
I would not be surprised, because usually a lot of turn players are like, all right, against a tank push, I get a tank myself and I defend. But ForGG's like, but I could also build 20 Hellions and defend. Yep. So there's 2 different ways that people like to approach the defense here. ForGG is going to use his style, which is, of course, mass Hellions. 4 Hellions at a time would be, I mean, it is ideal. And he's just simply going to overrun. Yeah. I mean, Hellion and Banshees versus tanks, Marines, and SCVs, you guess who wins? Hellion and Banshees.
It's not a pretty situation for Bunny right now, as ForGG, well, despite Bunny being ahead in supply before with the army supply, the fact that ForGG's second base was so much quicker, and he sacrificed a few SCVs to try and hold that off, of course. I mean, you take a little bit of damage there, it doesn't really matter. You're actually able to accrue that once again very, very swiftly against Bunny right now, who, I mean, he's moving into the middle of the map with these siege tanks, but the Hellions greet them for a second, kill off a few Marines, move on back. Ooh, that Banshee's annoying, though.
Yeah, it's done a bit of damage there, but still, I mean, all the Banshees and Vikings and the Raven and ForGG's working off double the money.
Yep.
He's got 2 command centers. He's got the expansion mining. Even though Bunny's finally got down one of his own, this push, I just can't see doing that much.
Cloaks up here. If he could bring down that Raven, that'd be fantastic. But at the same time, all of the Marines have just actually disintegrated under this firepower. The auto turrets are trying to bring down those Banshees right now, but little known fact, guys, auto turrets can't actually move, so ForGG is going to kill that.
I mean, we're talking about how good ForGG is defensive, because it is really good. But we must give credit where credit is due, and that's where Bunny's been able to somehow find his way of getting an expansion up. Getting a decent amount of SCVs out as well. But yes, he's losing a lot of his assault. But despite losing all of his assault, he's got a good setup again.
He does.
But the problem is, yes, he's got a good setup, but can he defend against ForGG's army that's left over?
Those Vikings ruling the air for ForGG, whilst Hellions just move forwards. And this one Banshee forcing the unsiege at the perfect time here as the Hellions move in and kill off the remainder of the siege tank as well as the Marines. He has 2 Marines and 1 siege tank left. ForGG,
An animal.
he's still king of the roost here.
He is king of TVT. There is no way that anyone can dispute that. Getting to the SCV line, defending this one base push, just
GG.
excellence again. As you say, GG from ForGG. You know, tip-top form with his TVT. Easy peasy for ForGG.
That was sick.
That was pretty sick,
That
right?
was pretty sick.
That was pretty sick.
All right.
Sometimes Apollo cashed really well, but other days he cashed really, really bad.
Was that what we considered it? Well, okay. So, ForGG is showing why he's the master of this matchup. Despite changes, doesn't really care too much. I mean, even when it was Hellbats versus Hellbat drops, he would still mix in so many of those Hellion kind of plays that he would always have a million Hellions, and it still works. I don't know why more Terrans don't just make a lot of Hellions. We saw, when was it?
Because
I tweeted out about it.
let me explain. Let Professor Apollo explain. As a Terran player, and I guarantee that a lot of Terran players think this too, you look at Hellions and you say, all right, well, they're kind of, you know, they're fast. They're pretty good against SCVs and Marines. But I prefer to have tanks.
Yeah.
I prefer to have some decent units. And then all of a sudden, ForGG's like, yeah, sure, you have decent units, but you only have 2 or 3 of them. When I have 30 Hellions, and then the Hellions work. And it's kind of like confusing to your brain, right?
Yeah.
Because you're like, surely these units, they can't physically break me. But they seem to. Every time with ForGG. There's been strategies from ForGG that have been built around pure Hellions.
Yeah.
I remember against Lucifron on Belcher Vestige last season, the deciding game to see who moved on to the semifinals and who finished in the round of 8. It was a 3-factory, 6 Hellion per cycle timing before there were too many tanks. He got in, he broke the bunker, he smashed his way through, and that's how ForGG does it.
That's how he does it, man. All right, game number 2, start station. As we have, spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner. Needs to bring this back, otherwise he's in Challenger once again to the man who knocked him into Challenger in Season 1. It is Copenhagen Wolves, Bunny. And spawning up to the top right-hand corner, a TVT master himself. In the red, he is Millennium ForGG. And, you know, there was WCS Korea like a week ago. There was a Terran who just decided to make 20 Hellions even and just break the wall down because you can't actually repair a wall against 20 Hellions. And I tweeted out, Shades of ForGG. And then ForGG goes along and retweets me. He knows his style.
He knows his style. I can't remember who that was though exactly. I remember the game. It was obviously it was from the Terran group. It must have been.
Was it Bomber Flash?
I think it may have been Bomber.
I think it was because he opened up the first game with Banshees and blah blah blah.
I think it was Bomber Flash who did that. Definitely.
ForGG giving a tip of the hat to the old Hellion. It's a scary unit in this matchup.
It's a scary unit when ForGG uses it, that's for sure. Bunny opening up here with a 12-12. I think we're going to see double barracks, Reaper. from Bunny. Bunny, absolutely. Okay, so Bunny is a player that is very talented and, you know, is a super up-and-coming player. Definitely by the end of the year, next year, if he keeps up the same work ethic he's got now, he could be a very good Terran player in Europe. But what I feel he may be falling victim to is lack of experience and saying to himself, I can't beat this guy.
Yeah, maybe.
In WCS, I've lost 5 games in a row versus him. I don't think I can beat him.
It's such a mental block.
It's Star Station. 2 barracks is very common here. Mass Reaper, hopefully along the lines, ForGG sucks in his defense, whether it be command center first, barracks command center, too few Marines, reactors late, miss micro, anything. But ForGG is going to be in for a rocky time until he gets Hellions out. Which will come which will eventually come. Of course, it's ForGG.
Yeah. They'll come along. ForGG, he's going to try and scout out. He sees 1 barracks. Does he go? No, he doesn't.
No. I think that's really dumb from Terran players, and I'm not afraid to say that. On Star Station, to see a 12-12, because he knows it's a 12-12, to not check the main base for a second barracks, I think in this time is actually a little bit of a mistake from Terran players, because it is so common.
And he's getting a reactor as well. That's going to limit his Marine production to greet these 2 Reapers initially. And, well, it's going to be tough. He's going for the command center behind this. How does this play out, Sean, in terms of having 1 barracks with eventually reactor against this many Reapers early on?
I mean, like I said, it's okay to begin with, because maybe you have to pull a couple of SCVs, but you have a faster command center.
Yeah.
The thing where this becomes easy, I'm gonna stop this, is when Hellions get out. That's like, he's just got to keep microing. Good micro so far.
I like what he's doing, though. He doesn't decide to go and kill an SCV or something. He weakens Marines because he knows that they're going to be the fighting units later on to deal with the next Reapers that come along.
Yep, absolutely. He really doesn't have to do that much, because if you look at the command center differences, yes, he's behind in tech, with the factory being much, much faster for ForGG. If he defends against that tech advantage, it's okay. So he doesn't really have to do too much here, just good micro. But look at ForGG, put in the green health Marines, the ones with the full health at the front.
Well, we're going to see how this plays out here. Those Reapers can kill those units off very nicely and very quickly here. SCVs are pulled, realizing now that 3 Reapers out at this time. What's going on?
Bunny really keeping his micro up so far, isn't he? But the Hellion is on its way. Already we see ForGG looking to counterplay this. He's already playing a move ahead of him like a chess player. Starport's already down. He's thinking moves ahead. He's like, all right, so in a minute, the Hellion's going to be out. I'm going to defend it. Then I'm going to get my Starport down. Then I'm going to go drop you. I'm going to maybe Widowmine drop you or Hellion Marine drop you, whatever. Thinking moves ahead.
That Hellion gives him a little bit of extra DPS here, and that's very, very useful to actually push off those Reapers. I don't think the Reapers have really paid for themselves.
Probably not here. They ideally would have liked to do more. I think they got 1 SCV. No, not even 1 SCV kill here. And just picked off a couple of Marines, that's it. And now the counterplay is already active. The medevac should immediately be made from ForGG here, and just, you know, lock and load, baby. Lock and load.
Lock and load.
And just load up and get the hell over there and go drop, because, I mean, what is there? 3 barracks, but if those Marines are being healed with Hellion support behind them, it's going to be very difficult for Bunny to hold off that unless he stops the medevac from landing and planting these units inside the main base.
Really, really tough here for Bunny to play out of it. I mean, what does he have at home? He added on the 3rd barracks, I think, so he is going to have a lot of Marines out, but Hellions as well as Marines for ForGG are already moving out here. The bunker should help him quite considerably at the front, but other than that, with that medevac allowing this mobility here for Bunny, ForGG even.
What?
That's annoying.
What? A bit of a lag issue there. Not too much, as it does catch up. And the Reaper does fall down. But here comes the big play from ForGG, and he really could swipe this 2-0 series very easily.
Yeah.
He's got to be very careful. The Marines, of course, ideally want to pick this off. Combat shield's not too far away. Defensive upgrade over Stim, knowing that the counterplay was very viable. A wall off here to prevent any run-bys, or at least filter the run-bys, I guess.
Saw the
glimmer
of Marine. Yeah, he's just going to break down this bunker.
Everything's in the main base, because you don't expect it at the front.
Oh, this is annoying for Bunny. He's going to kill off quite a few Marines.
All the Marines come down the ramp.
They've so lined up those 3 Hellions, providing fantastic DPS. 1 Reaper was at the other side of the map here doing damage for Bunny, but ForGG wrecking things at the front.
Every time ForGG plays TVT, he just makes it look so simple.
Yeah.
And he goes, and it is just, I have another TVT. Yeah.
He's very happy.
I mean, the best part about TVT nowadays is that when the Hellbats were active in the game, in the meta game, TVT became a very coin flippy matchup. Because it was like, can I get damage done? Can I defend damage? And then vice versa, always. Always like that. But nowadays, without that option, it's very back to how it used to be, very skill-oriented. There's no luck as much. I felt Hellbats was very lucky. Can you get in? Can you not get in a lot of the times? And very gamble. If you don't get in, you invest more and invest more. It's very gambly.
Yeah, and ForGG is one of the players that actually didn't go down the Hellbat route as much as other players. Yes, he used them, but there was always these Hellion plays that he made work.
Even against Hellbats, yeah. So ForGG has been a master in TVT for a very, very long time and continues to show that here. But unfortunately for Bunny, he does drop down to Challenger League and will have to work his ass off once again to get back into Premier League. I mean, if we look at his results, he did really work his bum off to get back into Premier League for this season. 2-0 versus Jogging Hose, 2-0 versus Cass. Did drop versus MMB, but then went on to beat Harston and Duck Duck.
Yep.
Hopefully he can continue to do that because it would be a pleasure to have him back in Season 3.
And he was so close to defeating Grubby there during that series, but what
could have
can
been
you
a different story if you beat Grubby and had to play VortiX.
Certainly could have been. All right, guys, and that means now we'll go to a break, but after that we'll be back for our final series of the night to determine who gets that second round of 16 spot. Will it be Grubby or will it be ForGG? We'll see.